What's going on? Why does it have 1330 on the side? What's going on, YouTube family? This is Seafood Tony Smith talking about men of color taking back our neighborhoods. Number one, I drive semi, I've drove local, over the road, and I have a problem that we cannot take back our neighborhoods. We cannot be men that we need to be. Number one, I'm not judging anybody. I've made millions of mistakes. But we need to do dialogue as men of color, or you can say black men, you can say Moors, you can say Hebrew Israelites, whatever you want to call yourself. So we shouldn't particulate in that level of just what our name are and what we are. Let's deal with the problem. Why do we have to move out of other neighborhoods to have a peaceful life? Why someone don't have a problem with throwing trash out their car, not picking up their own trash, because we have lost the level of understanding of ourselves. Where did we lose it? Do we blame slavery? Do we blame the man was taken out of the home? What do we do? Are we seeking peace? Long ago, our people was the most spiritual people in the world. What has happened? Okay, we've been castrated by Europeans through slavery, self-slavery, self-denial. What is it? So for me, I've been reading this book here, The Valley of Dry Bones. I think this is a good reader for people to understand. This is biblical. In Jeremiah, he talks about the Valley of Dry Bones. But the problem what I read in this book, what I like about it, it talks about how other people, nationalities, will set up stores in our neighborhood and take the resources elsewhere, and we let them do it. Because a black man is not part of the Korean network where he can get his goods cheap, or he's not part of the Arab or Persian or Jewish network where he can get it at a low discount. So we have to charge more. But why do we take our money some other places and give money to people who money that we give them don't circulate in our neighborhoods? And we steady robbing and steal one another. So point is, we have to regain the knowledge of self. And that's loving yourself. How do you love yourself? Well, you connect to, you can call it Christ. Or you believe in, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus. Call it Christ, or you can say, well, that's not the name he was, blah, blah, blah. But are you still helping your family, or are you helping your fellow man? No matter what spirituality you believe in, it's about, if you're Buddhism, it's about helping other people. Hare Krishna, Islam. So whatever we take, we make it the best it can be. So I have 3 boys. I have a daughter I haven't seen in 20 years. That was my fault. That's when I was matriculating in the lower nature. A beast. I'm tired of being a beast. I want to hear from other men that want to take back their neighborhood. It's not about through violence, but if I see somebody stealing, I need to snitch. Why is it called snitch and they stealing from me, or they selling drugs? Just because it's not my son, it could affect my son later. Or they hit old ladies down the street, snatch their purses, I turn my back. But what if they knock my wife out and take her purse? We got to get out of that. It's about taking your neighborhood back. We move other places when we can take care of our own neighborhoods and get the property cheap. It's about caring for one another, loving one another, and taking back. This is a good book here too. Oh, this is one, Valley of Dry Bones. Do everybody know who Imhotep is? He was a wazir for the pharaoh Zoser for the first step pyramid. High up Masons know about this because I'm from Los Angeles. When I lived in Los Angeles, you go off of Wilshire and Crenshaw. If you're heading north, you will make a left on Wilshire. It's the oldest Masonic hall in Los Angeles. It has sculptures of y'all boy George Washington, Albert Pike's Klan member, and then it has Socrates, Plato, but the highest one is of Imhotep. And Pharaoh Zoser is raising him up to a perpendicular, giving him the lion's grip. So point is, his pharaoh had locks in his hair, not dreads. Dreads is another derogatory name that we accept because we scared of research. Okay? So we have to love one another. A doctor takes a Hippocratical oath to Aesculapius. That's the Greek term for this man. When you do your research, it lets you know the Romans would worship this man 2,000 years after he was dead. And people would lay on his grave and get healed. This is not a European. When you research Sheikh Diops, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he proved that the 10, 15 first dynasties were Negroid, not mixed. When Joseph came on the scene in Egypt during that time, it was a mixed race because no one from the outside could come in and move that close to the Pharaoh, the position Joseph had, Jacob's son. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is it's not about putting down what nobody believes. But my thing is, why should we leave out of our neighborhoods when you're doing pretty good to go to another one? When you can just look after your own neighborhood. Start teaching self-love, self-righteousness, and treating people right. So for me, it's self-knowledge. This is a good book too, by Dr. Goss. He's an iridologist, herbalist, chemist out of Los Angeles. This name of this book, The Rebirth of the Gods, by Dr. Paul Goss. This tells you how to eat right and think right. Jesus said, we're gods. You have to really interpret the Bible. Interpret it. The herbs is enough to heal the nation. So why are we eating all this junk? We know it got poison in it. You know, when you drink cow milk, it's pus all in it. They give her steroids to make her think she's pregnant when she's not. I had a client back in the days teaching him Kung Fu. He said, man, he was a meat inspector. I went to his job. They were shooting steroids in the cow. Pus was coming out. And this milk goes to the dairies. It goes to the markets. They was killing hogs, hitting them in the head with hammers. That spirit goes into that meat. So we all need to help one another. I have some online businesses going. I desire to have economic power. So we complain of how our streets, I live in Milwaukee, most of the streets in the hood is tore up. But we won't get together and go complain. We don't want to buy nothing in the neighborhood, but we got to get a portfolio. How you get a portfolio? Not by renting an apartment and having an Escalade sitting out front. That's not going to be a portfolio. So when you want to talk to these politicians, when you have a portfolio of $500,000 or better, and you want to buy something and make a change, they're going to listen. They're going to fix that street. Or all of us on our block complain. But we can't be separated from one another. We got to live here. It's a new president coming, and it's the signs of the times. So for me, just like this shirt, it says Mexico. Do you know what the old name for this was? Amexis. Cortez came over here in 1505. He ran into Montezuma II. Was a native man that looked like me or one of you guys. Broad nose and thick lips. So research that. The Olmecs, the Aztecs. When you go in those caves over there, it's black folks in those caves. Or Moorish, or whatever you want to call them. Israelites. Forget about the names. Let's work together. So for me, it's knowledge of self. You grow something in the garden, you promote something online, send it to me. If it's useful for me, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to talk about you, ask you what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to buy it and I'm not. I'm not going to follow you on Facebook or Twitter and just look. We are towed up. I got some things going online. I get better results from people in Europe than I do from people right here that I know. We like crabs in a barrel. When we gonna stop? Why have so much faith in a job when they can lay you off tomorrow? Why buy a car you can't afford? Why hang out and get drunk all night? You particulate in the lower self. In ancient Kemetic or Kemet, whatever you want to call it, Egypt, a man reached his peak at 90. Then he kind of started to go downhill a little bit slowly. But look at us today. We can't even live to be 50. I have a father that died at 51 and my mother died at 57. That's too young. But how were they eating? How were they thinking? What kind of life they was living? What poisons they was drinking? We bless the food, but are we living right? Are we making sacrifices for our families? What are you leaving your kids? Are you taking it all for yourself? Are you a woman that say, I can get mine, I don't need you? That's not biblical nowhere. We need to work together. For me, it shouldn't matter what you believe in. We should want peace in our neighborhood. I shouldn't have to move 15, 20 miles away, be in a neighborhood where there's only two among us like that. That's insane. And as I close, you should research this kinky hair. When you research it, it lets you know 1,000 years ago, this was the hair of the gods. Not stringy hair. This spiral connects you to something. You need to research the spiral in the kinky hair. It will blow your mind. I'm here to tell you, it will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. So for me, peace, love, and happiness, I want some feedback from some men that want to take their neighborhood back, not by force, by knowledge, and by the pen, by working together. You know, you got a taco stand. I'm going to help you out. Even if I don't buy tacos, don't eat it. I can give you $5 every now and then. You're selling shoes. You're selling clothes. I should better buy something. But that's reciprocate what we believe in. If we're a Muslim, be a Muslim. We're a Christian, atheist, be that. But that still doesn't mean we can't work together and live together. My mother used to be in an investment organization. She was the only one Christian. Some of them was Islam. Some of them was Sikhs. Some of them was this, that, and the other. But you know what? They knew how to invest that money. We let too many things as a people separate us. I'm right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Same separation. People live around the corner next door smoking weed all day. Don't give a damn. Toe up real bad. But I send them positive vibrations. I'm trying to plant seeds of positivity. You know what? Men, women, let's see if we can go 1 hour without thinking nothing negative. Then go 2 hours. Then go all day where you don't let a negative thought come into your mind, where you just manifest peace. You send peaceful love vibrations out there. But I'm not going to hold you. But anyway.